Hi guys, welcome back to a follow-up on the command parsing and scenarios. So, this video we're gonna expand on the previous one yet again. Here we're gonna have a look at router 1 and router 2 we're gonna add as well. Let me go to basic command jobs. That will work better. So we select both devices or we select one. But here we're gonna do something different. So in the previous one we have extracted information, we had on top of that we had some logic that we wish to do, that we could do something depending on the information. Right now we're going to expand yet again on it, so whenever this information is missing, in this case the domain name, we might wish to put out or send the actual configuration that we wish towards the device, right? So we can do a check on it, and depending on the output we can update the configuration. Let's have a look. I'm going to duplicate and we're going to add some information to the database, right? So as you know, we're talking about SeamDB nodes here. The SeamDB has a region, so let's have a look at that. So you haven't touched upon this before, but in the region as well as in the domain, you can put a lot of variables inside the database. So the domain and the regions are accessible for SeamDB nodes as well. Let's use region reserve 1 and we put abc.com as the information in there. We're going to save it and we go back to the first screen. We're just going to test if this actually works. So we can put in region reserve number 1 as a variable and we're going to press evaluate just to see if it resolves. Just to make sure that you guys trust me, I'll put it on router number 2 as well. Evaluate, and the same variable will be substituted. Okay, so let's expand the command right here. Okay, so we're going to use parse domain. I'm going to put this information here. Again, remember we're using the task parse domain, so there's no task basic command job right here, but we will get to that. So again, we're going to go to the scenario. Here we have this information that has been done. We don't need that anymore. We're going to go into operate scenario and we're going to use the parse domain that we did last time. Okay, so recap, we did the parse command. We did an error check on there. If there's a domain, we're going to log that information into the action log, else we logged something else. So this time we're going to send out a configuration towards that device if the domain is missing. We can do that in two ways. Let me save this first and jump back to the basic command job. As we have done before and as we've talked about, this task can be used to push the configuration that was put into the command box towards the device. So whatever information was typed in this box would be sent to the device. So we can now do two things, either copy all of this or partial output or the partial information and put it here in the else statement. So we could get rid of the description, but we could do all of this and that would work just fine, right? Or we could chain scenarios and make it even fancier. So we could say the task equals basic command job, which would be the name that was specified as a scenario name, right? So what this does, if the domain exists, we're gonna tell the system about it, we're gonna log that information, and if it doesn't exist, we're gonna execute the basic command job. Again, what this does, it will take the information, let me save this in the meantime, it will take the information that is in the command box, use that, and we'll be sending it towards the device using the scenario basic command job. So this is powerful stuff where you can chain different scenarios, each with their specified function, and just combine them after each other so that if your logic is true, it will go into the next step and execute whatever it is that you wish to do. So again, it will use this command exec basic function for this specific node with its address, with the vendor type, with the domain, and it will use this file name that is automatically generated of all the syntax that is in the command box. So let's just have a look what this actually does. So we're going to execute this on router 1 and router 2. And just to make sure that I'm not cheating, I'm just going to show you that this information is here, this information is here. So we got no domain on router 2, we do get a domain on router 1. Okay, so let's have a look. We're going to parse this, we're going to select now that we wish to push this out right now. We got the IP domain name configured right here, which should only be executed if nothing was found. So let's have a look. Scheduling, router 1 is job 25, router 2 is job 27. You might wonder why these are uneven numbers. That's because we got only one system here. If this would be a redundant pair, you wouldn't have issues with the numbering scheme. Just a side note. Okay, so let's duplicate. Again, I love to duplicate. Operate. We're going into job logs and we see 25 and 27 successful. Let's have a look at router number 1 first. Here we go into the device. We're gonna use the parsing, so we extract abc.com. If it's found, we're gonna log about it, so we write something in the log action table. We log something right here, so domain ABC found, and nothing else is done. Okay, again, here you see the session log, so here we see the show run include domain name and with the information that was found. Perfect, as expected. Next step, router 2. We're gonna have a look at there as well. What we see is parsing, no information was found. We do an if on it, there's nothing, so we go into the else. Here we called upon a different scenario, which was the command, the basic command job. So here we're gonna push information to this device on this IP address using Cisco IOS vendor type, the domain IS with this information. As you can see at the top, that is this command, or the router2.cmd, that's this file. If we click on it, you would see that it holds this information, the IP domain name abc.com. Let's go back. We were over here. So what happens is we do a backup. Before it, we configure terminal, we exit the configuration, the IP domain name abc.com is given to the device. We make a backup afterwards, and we're done, right? There's no error, we continue, we completed executing the commands as per the scenario basic command job. Okay, so let's have a look on the scenario basic command job. That is actually the last part, right? So that is the last function line that there is. Okay, so you see it. We have an implicit end at the bottom, which makes the job being marked as successful. Okay, so we got router 1, we got router 2 again. So let's have a look. We apply the same command, show run include domain, same command, and we'll see that besides the no IP domain lookup that has been hit, it also has the configuration here for the domain name as well being applied. Perfect. Mission is a success. Thank you for watching.